Well, I haven't done much video in the last day and a half due to some unforeseen circumstances. But this is the place we rented in Gatlinburg, up in the mountains. Pretty nice. I'll take you on the inside here in a minute. But it's got a king size bed in one room with bunk beds, and another queen size bed downstairs. There's 2 bedrooms downstairs. So it's got this front porch, chair there. All right, this is the inside. Kind of messy. We're packing up. Have to be out of here tomorrow, so we're just packing up. But it's got a full-size kitchen, refrigerator and freezer, dishwasher. This ain't no deer camp, you know, like I'm used to. Big 65-inch flat screen. That fireplace is off limits till October 1st. They don't let you use them. I meant to take this video earlier, but as you all know, we had an accident on this vacation. So pretty much all knotty pine on the inside. And it's got a loft up here for the kids to play, I guess. Pretty tight quarters. Now they leave some stuff here that comes with the camp or cabin. Here's a view from up at the loft. View of the mountains, cloud cover. Comes with a hot tub. The kids have used it. Bench there. Like a party table here. It's got these lights all throughout. That's where they want the garbage. They have issues with bears over here. Bears getting into cabins and stuff. And they tell us to put our garbage in there. Comes with a gas grill. And my son just cooked us cheeseburgers on it tonight. Well, hi guys. It's, I don't even know the date. It's Friday. I don't know where to start. As you can see in the footage before this, it was a pretty nice place we stayed at in Gatlinburg. I don't have much video after, well, I did some in Gatlinburg and a little bit in Pigeon Forge, but not much. We had plans for a couple more big days of stuff, and I was gonna kind of do more of that. We were supposed to go up into the Smokies and hike in there, and this video is kind of hard to do. We went to Pigeon Forge after Gatlinburg, and after we got done having lunch, we kept the truck parked where it was, and we walked into town and went and played putt-putt golf. Okay, so then on the way back from putt-putt golf, she tripped, my wife tripped. I'll show some pictures here of what she tripped on a sidewalk. There was an electrical box that was cemented into the ground that was sticking up a good 3.5, 4 inches. She tripped over that. And she fell and was in tremendous pain and crying, which is understandable. Meanwhile, I was ahead of her, and it was like my son and his girlfriend, and then my daughter and wife were together. So my daughter seen her fall, start screaming, and I turned around, and some people, an older, not real old, but a couple that were on bikes stopped. She was a nurse. She stayed with her. My son and I and his girlfriend walked about another quarter mile to get my truck. And then we came back, and my son and I tried to pick her up and put her to the edge of the sidewalk so she could dangle her feet. That was unsuccessful. So my son's girlfriend called 911. The fire department came, the police came, an ambulance came. Fast forward a little bit, the ambulance driver said that I could not, I repeat, I could not ride in the ambulance to the hospital with my wife. So the cop told us what hospital they were gonna take her to. We might as well go and wait for her to get there. So the four of us got in my truck. My son drove because I was kind of upset. I still am. We went to the hospital where the cop said. They stayed in the truck. I went in the emergency room because there was 2 ambulances there. We didn't know if one of them was the one. So I gets in there, and the lady said, "No, there's nobody came in yet." And I'm like, well, this accident was not even 10 minutes from here. They should have been here by now. She wasn't the very nicest person behind the desk. She says, "All I can tell you to do is go plank your butt over there." That's exactly what she told me to do. I said, okay. Wasn't gonna argue. So I went and sat down. So by the time we got there and the time I went back up to the counter, 45 minutes have gone by. So I went up there and I was nice. I says, have you heard anything? Are they here yet? And I said, it was only, 10 minutes away. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was like how I was. I'm having a bad day." And I said, well, that's understandable. But I says, I'm looking for my wife. She's like, well, she called down. Oh, nobody's here. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. She says, why did you come here? I said, well, the police sent us here because I couldn't ride in the ambulance. So she said, well, they might have sent her to UT Medical Center, which is University of Tennessee Hospital. I said, okay, might have. I said, could you please call that hospital? I suppose. So she called there, and there was no sign, no nothing of them being there or anything. I says, all right. So I went out with my son and daughter and his girlfriend, and my son made the suggestion, well, we might as well drive back because we were only 10, 15 minutes from where the cabin we rented, from where we were. So we went back to the cabin we rented, and the lady at this other hospital said it takes about an hour and a half to get there. So we got back to the cabin, sat, and just kind of contemplated what, So then my son called there, and she was there. So now it's 7 o'clock, 7:30, between 7 and 7:30, Monday night, no, Tuesday night. So I Google where it's at. Well, it was 37 miles away from where we were staying, but however, there isn't really no expressway, no fast way to get there. So 37 miles, according to Google, was an hour and like 12 minutes, which it took me an hour and like 10 minutes. Because you're going through the mountains, windy roads over to this road, and you go. So there wasn't no straight path to get there. So I got to University, UT Medical Center, they call it. I got there, and she was in the emergency room with a neck brace on, and nothing was really happening. So on my way there, a doctor had called me and wanted to talk, and I'm like, you know what? I'm 10 minutes out. I got my GPS going so I can get there. I didn't want to talk to him while my GPS was going, because I had no idea where I was going. He said, all right, I'll see you when you get here. So he came in the room after I got there and told me what the diagnosis and this and that, and she broke her hip. But at that time, they didn't know if they were going to operate that night or the next morning. So granted, okay, now it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. This lady from orthopedic comes in, talks to Lynn, explains to her what's going on. We're not going to operate on you till tomorrow. I says, okay, do you have any idea what time? I told her, I says, you know, we're from out of state. I have no idea what's up, where, what, and this and that and the other. And she's like, no. She's like, but I can have the hospital call you and give you a time of when she'll have surgery. I said, okay, thanks. So I said to her, I said, well, do you have any idea, is she gonna stay down here in the emergency room or is she gonna go and get a room? She goes, I can't answer that. That's not me, it's these people down here. I said, all right. So now it's going on like 11:30. And a nurse came in to do blood or something, and I asked her, I said, do you have any idea? She says, no, we're waiting on this and this. And I says, all right. So meanwhile, she's laying in that emergency room on that bed, and they gave her some pain medicine because she was in dire straits pain. I mean, she was so much pain, she was crying. So at about 12 o'clock, I said, I might as well go back to the cabin and try to get some sleep. If they operate on you, they're not going to operate on you until at least 7, 8 o'clock. I'll come back. And she says, yeah, that's probably better off. So I had left, went back. I got back to the cabin that we rented at about 10 to 2 in the morning, which was going on Wednesday. So my daughter woke up when I got back and we talked. She said she'd go back with me. So I laid on the couch. I set my alarm on my phone for like 6:45, and we left at 7:30. Got to the hospital, it was like 10 to 9. Went up to her room and she was gone. They told us where to go. I went there, and of course now I'm thinking, well, nobody called. Nobody called to tell me what time. So she was in prep for surgery, not knowing we were even there. So I checked in and I told the lady, explained to her what I just explained to you guys. Lady was nice as pie. Nice, sweet little old lady. She goes, oh, honey, she says, I'll call down there and I'll tell them to tell her that you're here. And I said, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. So she gave me a number because they had this all on a computer screen, and me and my daughter went and sat, kept watching the board. And in prep. It kept saying in prep every time her number came up, and then it came up in surgery. So surgery was about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. And then they called me up to the desk and said, go in conference room 1, the doctor will come and see you in a few minutes. So he came in, really nice guy, nice as pie, explained to me this, what they did, and blah, 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 and how he's been doing hip replacements for I don't know how many years, and said they did a full one instead of a partial because a full one heals faster than a partial, so yada, yada, yada. So he's like, in a normal world, he's like, I have you make an appointment in my office and come back in 2 weeks, but you guys are from out of state. And I said, yeah. So he's like, well, what's your plan? I says, well, I work a full-time job. I says, I got to get a hold of my employer, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, she's going to be here at least 3 or 4 days. I said, well, you got to do what you got to do. I said, I ain't going to argue. I said, I don't want to take her home and end up hitting a hospital on the way home. He goes, no. He's like, but I want her to do at least 4 days worth of physical therapy. I said, I'm fine with that. And he also said, well, what's your plan when you drive home? How many hours is it? I said, well, it's about 9.5 hours. He's like, no. He says, you're not going to do that. He's like, you're going to have to break your trip up because the longer she sits, blood clots can form. So that's fine. I can stop here or there or wherever, drive a couple hours, stop, and whatever it takes to get home, I'll do it. He's like, that's fine. So anyway, here we are. It's 9 o'clock on Friday. I've been at the hospital 12 hours. I'm going to try to get some sleep. I just want to get you guys caught up to snuff on what's happening. I appreciate all your prayers, all your support. I know a lot of you that I follow that have YouTube channels. I know you have videos out. I just haven't got to them yet. I will get to them. But I haven't even, the only time I've really been on YouTube was to give updates on her. So I thought I'd do this video tonight. I've been thinking about it all day. I admit I'm a 57-year-old man and I shed a few tears the last couple days. This family vacation, and we don't do it every year. In fact, the last one, the kids were probably, it was probably 2009, 2010. And everything was going great, the Cumberland Gap State Park. We were in there and we went to them underground caves and we were having a great time. We had a great time in Gatlinburg. We were having a great time in Pigeon Forge. And all of a sudden, boom. So, but no, like I said, I appreciate all your kind words and all your support. It means a lot to me personally. I don't know what I had to reach out to somebody because basically I'm down here by myself. I've been talking to a few guys, Facebooking or messaging on Facebook, and guys' numbers I've been texting them. I appreciate it all. I really do. I know I'm babbling on here, but I have to get it out of my chest. So I'll sign off for now. I don't know. I think my turkey season's done. Under these circumstances, I can't go to camp now. But that's the least of my worries. I want to get my wife healthy and I want to get her home. That's all I'm worried about right now. They're going up to camp and going turkey hunting. That can wait. So, but anyways, thanks again, and we'll talk to you later.